used. Okay, we're good.
Hey,
Have to
that's
do
thumbs up,
scrolling.
all right. Call the meeting to order. And rise to the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Aldermember Starr.
Here.
Clacty.
Here.
Carey.
Here.
Polson.
Here.
Eller.
Here.
Kerrigan.
Here.
Mayor Barner.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Welcome to all the visitors that are here tonight. Thank you for coming out. We'll move to the consent agenda. Donna?
Yes, I have a finance committee meeting report that we did go over the purchasing policy again this time, and we still need to do maybe one more revision. So hopefully we'll get that done next month and then approved by the park board, and then we'll have this finalized. So with that, I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Motion second, all in favor? 6-0. Thank you. All right, move to the mayor report. I got a little bit. So, first, I want to express I actually posted this on Facebook thing, but I thought it was needed to be repeated in front and in public for the people of Odessa and our employees, et cetera. So I want to express my deepest gratitude to our law enforcement, first responders, city street crews, and the many neighbors helping one another for your incredible dedication, hard work, and compassion during the snowstorm. In the face of such challenging conditions, your tireless efforts ensure the safety and well-being of our community, and for that, I am profoundly grateful. To the law enforcement officers who worked around the clock, literally, your vigilance and commitment to maintaining order and ensuring public safety, your efforts did not go unnoticed by the community, and your presence provided us with a sense of security in, at times, chaotic situations. To the first responders, you risked your own safety to help those in need, and your compassion and professionalism have made a lasting impact in your system. To the city street crews, who worked tirelessly to clear the roads and are still doing so, and ensuring our streets were passable, thank you for your resilience and hard work. Your efforts allowed us to go about our daily lives as safely as possible, and we are incredibly fortunate to have such a dedicated group looking out for our community. And to all those neighbors that care one another, from helping clear driveways, and sidewalks for those who needed it most, to checking in on elderly neighbors, or assisting someone stuck on the road, you have shown strength and warmth of our community. Your efforts made a huge difference, especially to those most in need. Your combined effort during this difficult time showed the strength and unity of our city when it really counted. It is because of you that we're able to navigate the storm's aftermath and move forward. Please know that your work and compassion is recognized and appreciated, not just in times of crisis, but every single day. And I am truly grateful for all the hard work everybody put in and our neighbors to help one another. Next, I want to move to the Chamber of Commerce annual awards are coming up. And I think it's a good thing to mention those in a public setting. The Chamber has their annual awards, different categories of people that just really made a difference in our community. And I'm just going to mention them. For beautification, the award goes to the Rotary Club, Hannah's Bar, Rocky Roots Trail. What a phenomenal thing that if you've not ever gone out to Rocky Roots Trail, you're missing something. So this spring, maybe not right now. I don't know what might be on. Go check out the Rocky Roots Trail. The new business of the year is Woodruff's second. So Amy and Scott Burnett, congrats on that. Business of the year, Hometown Chiropractic and Wellness, Jamie Martinko. Doing a great job there. Organization of the year, the Odessa Upper Elementary Parents and Teachers Organization, Sarah Burke, the really important work out there with that. Hometown Hero, who else but John Carmody. What a great choice. Volunteer of the year, Rodeo Committee, Kathy Thompson and her crew. Community Betterment, Mr. Scott Duncan at the Universal Chrysler Dodge out there. He contributes a lot to this city. Business Person of the Year, goes to Shelby Varner. And this one I really like. Lifetime Achievement Award, Jim Petticord. Good pick, good pick. All right. And when I ran for office, I ran on a platform of communication. I believe it's communication between local government elected officials and citizens, it's absolutely essential for a healthy community. I think there's good communication with myself and the board. I think we're doing okay there. And I'm continually working on ways to enhance communication for our community. And to that end, there is now an Odessa Insight podcast. It's now available. The podcast takes a lighthearted, casual approach to explore what's happening in Odessa from city issues and local events to the latest downtown business news. There will be conversation with city leaders, department heads, elected officials, business owners, and the amazing people that make a difference in our schools and community. The podcast can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Heart Music, iHeartRadio, and Castbox. We'll have YouTube up running pretty soon. And as many other venues as people want me to put it on, I'll put it up there. You just search for Odessa Insight on those platforms and you'll find it. Episode 1, we've already got that done. It took a candid look at our electrical infrastructure, and thank you, Troy, again, and Sean for participating with that. That was a good one. And we've got more coming up. So, and it should probably be noted that these podcasts to the community, they are being done at no expense to the city whatsoever. That includes the cost of the equipment and any subscription fees. So that's all taken care of. One more. I love when I get to do this stuff, especially to hardworking folks that we have here. This is a mutual aid letter of commendation for the Odessa Power and Light crew. I don't know if you knew you're getting destroyed, but well deserved. I'll just read it. Odessa Power and Light receives national commendation for electrical restoration efforts in the city of Tallahassee, Florida, and Lawrence, South Carolina, in response to Hurricane Helene. City of Odessa, Missouri, September 24th through October 8th. Our Odessa Power and Light has received a national commendation from the American Public Power Association for its support in electrical restoration, power restoration efforts in Tallahassee, Florida, and Lawrence, South Carolina. On September 24th, 2024, Odessa Power and Light sent 3 crew members to assist residents in Tallahassee, Florida, which had experienced widespread power outages due to Hurricane Helene. On September 27th, the crew was deployed for an additional 6 days to Lawrence, South Carolina to continue electrical power restoration efforts following post-hurricane flooding and storm damage. Odessa Power and Light is a participant in the American Public Power Association's Mutual Aid Network, which coordinates with utilities and authorities during widespread power outages. Troy, you represented your city very, very well. We are so proud of the work you did there in assisting so many in a time of need. Well done, sir. Well done. And with that, I will move to the Aldermen reports. Oh, okay, that is the proclamation. Okay, Alderman Black.
I would, for my report, agree with the mayor on thanking all the city people, the electric department that got out in a blizzard to fix the electric stuff. Thank you all. I mean, thank you.
Alderman Kerrigan.
I would agree. Thank you for everybody who serves, everybody. I know that it's not easy to do some of these jobs. It's not pleasant. Sometimes it's downright cold. And it's not always appreciated, but know that there are good people in Odessa that do appreciate it. And keep your head up and try not to listen to the people that are not appreciated as much. So appreciate it, guys.
Alderwoman Tolson.
I have got to say this.
Alderwoman Elder.
Yeah, I did get out with cabin fever and drove around on Monday, and I did not see one street in town that had not been plowed. So I just think that says a lot for our small town. So, and I haven't really had that many complaints on streets, so well done.
Alderwoman Starr.
I just too would like to thank them. I was out of electricity for 4 hours, but I got a lot done in 2 hours. I had to stay warm.
And Alderman Kerrigan.
Yeah,
Now I'm calling, I guess.
You're on.
You're good.
You were.
Oh,
Was I on? Am I now?
one more.
Just vote.
And
Okay. I had a constituent who attended last month's meeting indicate to us that the people in the audience sometimes have a difficult time hearing us, either because of the different and problems we have with our microphones. So I would just like to ask all of us, when we are speaking, either speak up and make it easier for the people here to understand what we're saying, and certainly the people that are looking at us on the Zoom. Okay? We received a letter from Dennis Hahn, who is a Ward 3 resident. He had some concerns about a trash situation, and the city staff and Josh, we had a number of people that I think immediately went to work to try to resolve this and have talked to the Republic. And I think we have gotten a good solution, and I think we are now completely in control of that, although the snow has not assisted us in perhaps finalizing it. And I would also, after begging people to actually think about running for alderman, we have two people that have stepped up. Bruce, who I think is out there, and Seth Howerton have both put their names in, and they're challenging myself and Carla. I'll be honest, Mike, I'm sorry that somebody from Ward 2 did not come up and go after your seat. But you are going to get 2 years, and I think that's wonderful because you've done a great job. But I just want to congratulate the two people that did step up. I am sorry that we don't have 3 or 4 in every ward that would be willing to put their name into the hopper. So I think we're going to have great aldermen, no matter who is elected this year. So that's it.
Very good, sir. Thank you. Moving on to public comments. Brenda Oliver, come on up, please.
I am once again here representing the Chamber of Commerce, and I want to start by saying thank you, Mayor, for giving us a plug for the recognition banquet. Anybody that's interested in attending, the general public can attend also. The tickets are $35 a piece, but we have to have the reservations by day after tomorrow. So I am supported tonight with other chamber members. Our executive director, Leslie Shire, who you would contact about buying a ticket to the banquet, and Terica Jones, who is the vice president of the Chamber of Commerce this year, and she's the owner of the Hilltop event venue. I don't want to be a broken record and tell you that the chamber is very concerned about the decision to forego participation with the Department of Transportation, MoDOT, about putting the name Odessa on the overpasses. And I am here tonight with new information in that the chamber feels so strongly about this issue that we would like to pledge $10,000 toward the cost of those, I'm trying to think of the word for that. I talked to somebody at the highway department and they gave me the word for the aesthetics of the overpasses. Because we feel that strongly about it. And one thing that maybe I would add, when you stop and think about all of the downtown merchants and the Chamber of Commerce members who do spring for individual advertising by buying billboards on I-70, and they're paying a pretty substantial fee every month for their name to be on the highway, you have to put in perspective that this cost, albeit larger than I wish it were, is a one-time thing. And if we miss this window of opportunity, we can't go back and add it later. It's something that everyone will benefit from, and I think the economic development impact of it cannot be overstated. So that's my 2 cents worth. Put us down for 10 grand.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you, Brenda. We'll be having that discussion shortly.
Mayor,
Yes.
would you like me to do my report?
Oh, we skipped it.
Yes, I would. It's time for the Alderman, for the city administrator report. Move right by that, didn't we?
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen.
Good evening, Sean.
I was gonna say, are we supposed to say? Trying to get it to work. There we go.
It's touchy.
Here,
No,
mine's on.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, so I will get started with the Parks and Rec Department. They opened, or they will be opening up soccer registration from February 3rd to February 23rd. That's open for children ages 3 years old to 8th grade. They had, what last week would have been the second week of basketball, but it was canceled due to the weather. So I know that they had, yes, they had pictures scheduled for that week. So pictures will be rescheduled. In total, there's 9 towns participating in our basketball league. So the majority of those towns could not participate, which is why we just canceled it for everyone. So due to the weather. So Partners has completed the addition of new shade structures at Chestnut Park. So they got those installed, and then with just enough time to take them down due to the inclement weather. So, but they will be, this spring will be up, and we'll be able to enjoy that new addition that they've provided for us. The pool management agreement will be brought to you all at our next meeting, or our February meeting. That's something we look at annually. They manage all of the staff and the parties and the lifeguards and all of that. So that'll come back to you guys, or come to you guys from the park board in the February meeting. We will also be presenting the budget updates that Amy's put together for tonight. Those will be taken to the park board at their upcoming meeting this week, and Partners will also be meeting this week. For the wastewater department, we have routine operations and maintenance. We also have, we're looking into acquiring a new jetter truck for the upcoming budget. So we have a demonstration this week from one of the vendors that we're looking into. We have, I know I mentioned to you guys last time, they have been working with Republic to get their waste collected. The wastewater waste collected. That has all been sorted out and we're good to go. The Republic is now picking that up again. Kenny's crew has also been working on their annual EPA report, which is ready to go and ready to be entered into the EPA's new electronic system. And Kenny will be attending a water cost in Higginsville this week, training. For finance, we again are updating you all on the current year tonight, and then moving on next month, we will start our budget workshops for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. And we will get that calendar out to you guys very soon, because it won't be just our normal 7 o'clock meetings. There will be some special meetings for the budget workshops. So we will get that calendar out to you as soon as possible. And Amy has also been responding to a few inquiries from different audit services. So we do have that bid out, and we're just waiting for that to close, and hopefully we'll cross our fingers that we get some bid submissions. For the street and water department, the street shed, over the past week, we had some significant issues with the building itself, specifically the garage doors. As you all know, that building, the street shed, is very old, and it had experienced some wood rot, causing multiple doors to fall down. So we did have to get those repaired during, the emergency situation that we were in with all the snow plowing and things like that. So it just kind of intensifies the need for that building to be replaced. If you notice today, our street department has been working to remove the snow piles that are located in downtown, just so we don't have any issues with downtown parking or anything. They wanted to get all those huge mounds out of downtown. So they're working on that this week. Tomorrow, we'll have the live Christmas tree pickup, curbside pickup. So this is the first for us this year. Republic no longer provides that service, so city staff are stepping in to be able to help our residents out this year. If you are not able to leave your tree at the curb for staff to pick up, you can take it to our yard waste container located on First Street, or you can take it to the wastewater department anytime between 8 and 2 o'clock, Monday through Friday. After the snow has melted, our crew will be working on patching potholes, because that's always kind of hand in hand with lots of snow. Next comes the potholes, so they will be focusing on that. Our snow removal crew did work round clock, 24 hours a day, all Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday with the snow that we had in this latest snow event. So, like you all said, we appreciate them, and we thank them for not spending those hours with their families and spending it to take care of the safety of our citizens. For the police department, we do have an open application for the school resource officer. That position will remain open until filled, and it went out last week, so that is available. And I wanted to reiterate too that the hiring decision for that is made in unison with both city administration and the school board administration. And then tonight you see on the agenda, Chief Thompson is going to update us all on the 911 sales tax. So we do have new, or public safety sales tax, no, just 911 sales tax. There's some new information on that, so I'll let him speak to that. And we've talked a lot about the We Tip program. Well, we've officially gotten our first tip in, and it did lead to solving a crime, solving the case. It just was in Higginsville that it solved it for us, but it was a very substantial and significant case for Higginsville. So just evidence that is working, our very first one. And for the electric department, the breakers that we've mentioned before from the July 6th outage in 2022, those breakers have been delivered finally. So that will be, that's a really great target for us. We've been waiting for those for a very long time, and we finally have them to help improve our system. Christmas decorations will be removed as soon as time and weather will permit, so that will be coming. And this year we've decided that the festival lights, they usually would go up right after the Christmas decorations come down, and we've made the decision to not put those back up because we are very close to moving forward with the downtown infrastructure project. And for the city clerk, we have the workers' compensation audit for NPR. That is always conducted at the beginning of the year, along with all of the other tax requirements and things that Karen is working on. So she will be very busy with that. And as well as, year-end time off and all those things. So she's a very busy lady right now. We also have the candidate filing closed, like Bob talked about. So we are lucky to have multiple candidates this cycle. Karen will also be working on the health fair preparations for our staff. We have an annual health fair each year where they can get more information about how to better themselves and things like that. So she always puts on such a great fair for us. I also wanted to remind everyone that city offices will be closed on Monday for Martin Luther King Day. So that notice. And then each year we are able to turn in our training from each department into NPR. And once we reach a certain amount of training, NPR will reimburse us for those trainings or I'm not exactly sure, it's not like a 1-for-1, but they will give us kind of an incentive for those
2%.
safety trainings. So Karen's collecting that from each of our departments. And since they've started the program, we've received the reimbursement incentive each year. So we're doing really well there. I also wanted to congratulate, we had our Christmas party this weekend, and I wanted to congratulate Matt Wary on 5 years of service to the city of Odessa, and Lindsay Adams for 20 years of service to the city of Odessa. Myself, I've been working on, we have our performance reviews coming up, so I've been working on that. We also have the podcast available. Unfortunately, last week we did have to cancel our focus group tour in Lafayette at Lafayette County Sheriff's Office. So that has not been rescheduled at this time, but we will discuss that with our focus group members at our next meeting, which is on the 21st. I'll also be working on our economic development goals, and our consultants that we recently hired, they have started their department analysis of the community development department. So we expect to have a report back from them by the end of February. And one other fun thing to share with you all is that Karen, she was awarded an $800 grant for clerks training. So we're very excited about that. And lastly, I have the community development department where we have been trying to stay in contact with Pine Creek. We've now gotten onto a cycle where their project manager is giving us biweekly updates of where they are on the project. So currently right now, they are working on those 4 lots, and they have received their inspections for footings and ground rough. So they are working on framing and roofing at this time. The Planning and Zoning Commission will be meeting this week, and they will be having a work session on zoning and the uses permitted in each zone. So that's coming up this week. And I also wanted to share that at our last planning and zoning meeting, they did select the new chair and chairperson or co-chair for P&Z. So the chair is now Matt Maudlin and the co-chair is Mary Bertram. The previous members that did hold those, or that Ruth Beamer and Marty McDermott are going to stay on the board and continue their services until this upcoming April. And then we will have 2 available planning and zoning seats. So we'll be requesting that from the community. If anyone's interested to, please apply. We also have Graham's Edition. So they're making progress. They've already started some dirt work, and then we have the replat approval for that tonight on the agenda, and it's already gone to planning and zoning. We have a lot split that was on the last planning and zoning agenda for 313 South 5th Street, and that has been approved by P&Z. Lot splits do not come to the Board of Aldermen, and that information has been reported with the county, so everything's finalized for that. And we've been in communication with another applicant who's intending to do a replat for duplexes at Spring and Benning. So we're working with that applicant. And then lastly, I just wanted to share our totals for 2024 for planning. We had a total of 257 permits go out this year. That's up from 237 from last year and 113 from 2022. So we are definitely trending upward. All right, that's all I have. Do you have any questions or anything? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, there is no old business, so we'll move on to new business. We are ready for Chief Thompson's presentation on the proposed on the countywide sales tax.
Right. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Sean, thank you. I attended a county commission meeting last week, Wednesday, on January the 8th. And at that meeting, the county commission discussed Higginsville's proposal of a 1/2-cent sales tax, the same proposal that Higginsville County presented to you all at the previous board meeting. The commissioners had a lot of discussion from members that were present, but ultimately they decided that a 1/2 cent 911 tax to replace the current $1 per device plan that is currently being funding dispatch was the best route for voters in Lafayette County. So that will appear on the April 8th ballot. The ballot language has not yet been, so Jessica White has not certified that language yet, but once it is certified, that information will be, she has told me will be presented to the Odessa and other media outlets for yourself and the voters to read what that language is. They stated that the half-cent sales tax would generate approximately $1.7 million annually, which it would take approximately $1 million to run the dispatch center. A 7-person board would be appointed, and then the first general election after that appointment, the members would then either file for election or someone would file for an elected position within that 911 board. And that 911 board would then oversee the expenditures of that money. It is the hope of Higginsville and Lafayette County that that 911 board would continue to use Higginsville 911 dispatch since the infrastructure is there. That way, 911 services are not disrupted for Lafayette County residents. In the future, the 911 board could make a decision to construct a facility and or run their own 911 center, but Higginsville has agreed to maintain that for the foreseeable future to make that disruption as slight as possible. Any questions? Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you very
Thanks for
much.
the update, Chief, appreciate it. All right, moving to the next presentation, the Public Safety Facility Focus Group update. James Cranfield, please come up.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a couple minutes here, kind of give you guys an update on what we've been doing. Primarily, we've been in the exploration stage with our committee. We've heard from the original design, the original plans that were developed, to Kristen Hellbrenner, the Lafayette County prosecutor, who discussed and talked about the deficiencies of our current facility and facilities like it when it comes to criminal investigations and victim advocacy and all that, which was really kind of interesting. We had the opportunity, several of us went down to Sedalia 3D, toured that facility, just to kind of see the technology that goes into a newer police facility. Not sure what's going on. From electronic locks to officer wellness, that kind of thing. We weren't so much looking at the size of the building because we know we don't need anything nearly that big. Just looking at just infrastructure, what goes into it, type of thing. One of the concerns that I had, and we haven't really got to it yet, is, as you heard from Chief Thompson, is the 911 task that's coming on board. The fire department's also going to have a proposal that will be on the ballot in April as well. Really doesn't help us out from a public safety sales tax standpoint if the public is presented with all that at once. Thankfully, we don't have that public safety sales tax on the ballot here soon. Our group hasn't gotten into the funding aspect of any type of police facility yet, because honestly, we just don't know what we're going to build yet or actually recommend to you guys. From a size standpoint, cost standpoint, things like that. That's coming down the pike. As we gather all those facts, we'll start having more in-depth discussions as to what we really need in a facility, what meets Odessa's needs now and in the future, and how the funding mechanism is going to play in. From my perspective, we're really going to need that public safety sales tax to pass in order to fund payments for that facility, no matter if it's $3 million, $8 million. We're going to need that tax to help us out on that. Haven't really gotten into location yet either. Whether we stay at the proposed site or look for something different here in Odessa. That's coming up here relatively soon. we'll probably start getting into those discussions within the next meeting or two as well. It's really about it for right now. Like I say, we're still kind of in the exploratory gathering facts stage and moving into the discussion and location and costs and all that stuff coming out. So, do you guys have any questions or anything?
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
taking that on.
Well, I was a bit surprised by the chairman aspect of it, but that's okay. So I live a life of service above self, so it just kind of comes into place.
Well, we'll be excited to hear what you come up with in the next few meetings. So.
Yeah, I think it'll start taking a little bit more direction here within the next meeting or two, where we're gonna lean and things like that, as we have a chance to truly sit down and discuss what we've seen, what we need, things like that.
All right, wonderful.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. All right, next up, Amy Finch, our finance director. She's gonna talk about the 2024-25 fiscal year budget update.
Good evening. Each of you have handouts in front of you, and to members in the audience and then anyone listening or watching, we will be posting this on the city's website tomorrow on the finance department page under budget. So the format of the handouts you have in front of you and how we'll go through it, they flip upwards. So we will be looking at, on the kind of the top page, you will see the actual budget numbers, and then I have some explanations below. If at any point you have a question or comment, please let me know and we can stop there. And if I need to bring information back to you, I'll make a note of that. To begin, 75% of our budget year is complete, so we have 25% remaining. And if you will start by looking at pages 4 and 5. And we'll see at the top our general fund revenues. We've provided those to you kind of by what we call categories. So within each category, there may be one or more general ledger lines. Overall, we are running at, we have 45% remaining of our general fund revenues. The largest tax distribution from property taxes from the county will come in January, and that will make a significant impact on general fund revenues. Service revenues, the number appears to be low. I did make some adjusting entries to some very old accounts receivable invoices that needed to be voided, so that void is impacting our revenue line this year. The interfund transfers category is showing that there's 100% remaining. That includes some transfers that go towards the downtown infrastructure project that are budgeted but won't be made until that project is in full swing and expenses are being made. Also includes our administrative services transfers that will be made closer to the end of our fiscal year. The next few pages are broken down by general fund departments. So the first one on pages 6 and 7, you will see the general fund expenses for City Hall. Overall expenses are at 58%, so we are running under our budgeted expectations. Personal services is on target with budget. Contractual services are expected to exceed the budget. Our attorney's fees are trending higher than budget expectations. And our other professional services includes $14,000 to navigate building solutions for the downtown sidewalk project that was not included in the initial budget. The general administration category includes annual insurance premiums paid by the city. So those payments are already made for this year and exceeded the budget by approximately 9%. Capital category includes transfers to the transportation fund and park fund that have not been made. The transportation fund, again, will depend on the status of the projects and when expenditures begin. All right, on pages 8 and 9, we have the police department general fund expenses. Personnel services is on target with budget. Contractual services is on target with the budget. However, within that, the prosecuting attorney's fees are projected to be slightly over budget expectations. General administration is on target with budget. And operating and maintenance is also on target with budget. The computer expense line item within that is expected to slightly exceed, and that includes the lease amounts for the tough books that the police department uses, and any computer-related replacements that are required throughout the year. Non-operating shows that we are over $1,400. That includes a special events line item that doesn't have a budget, but is used for expense items related to donations for the therapy dog program and Shop with the Cop, so that's offset by the donations line in general fund revenues. All right, pages 10 and 11 are municipal court general fund expenses. Personnel services is trending to exceed budget expectations, and that is due to the court clerk increasing her hours to a technical full-time status, which then becomes eligible for loggers contributions. That's expected to be over budget approximately $3,300. Contractual services includes expenses for the municipal judge. Those are set and all 4 quarters have been paid, so that one should be complete. General administration is slightly over budget, but such a minimal amount, and it's just from office supplies. And operating and maintenance includes computer expenses, which is projected to come in well under budget unless a need comes up in the next few months. All right, pages 12 and 13 are general fund expenses for our street department. Overall, the expenses are running on target with budget. Personnel services is on target. The overtime line item within that category is expected to slightly exceed the budget, which overtime can be hard to predict through the year. General administration on target with budget. Within that category, the electricity and water, office supplies, and departmental supplies are exceeding the budget. The electricity and water line item is slightly over, however, throughout most of the budgets, the natural gas is slightly under, and that may change now with the weather we've recently had. Fuel for the vehicles in this budget is trending higher, and we would expect it to slightly exceed budget this year. Operating maintenance is trending slightly ahead of budget. Within that category is equipment repair and maintenance, and $18,300 was needed for sweeper repairs out of the $20,000 budget. The remaining expenses were routine and were not of significant amounts. All right, pages 14 and 15 are the solid waste management. That has one line item, and that is our contract that we pay for Republic. And that is on target with budget. It's a contracted amount, so we know what we'll pay each month, and that's based on the annual contracted price. I believe it goes up 4.5% each year during the contract, and then it's also based on the number of residential customers that are served. All right, next pages 16 and 17 are your community development and planning general fund expenses. Personnel services is on target within that category. Workers' compensation was under budgeted, which kind of skews that overall personnel services budget. Contractual services is trending under budget. So attorney's fees and other professional services are trending below budget. Other professional services includes our payments to IBTS for contracted building inspections and plan review. Engineering fees is exceeding the budget by $12,526. So this line item was initially budgeted for $2,000. Expenses to date include invoices for all state consultants related to Commercial Park, the Hill Project, Dryden Street Development, Underground Fiber, and Pine Creek Engineering Services. Some of those fees are reimbursed in the general fund revenues by building permit fees and plan review fees that we collect. General administration is exceeding budget. However, the overall budget is small. This category includes a fuel line that was not initially budgeted for and has expenses of $2,267. Operating and maintenance and non-operating are both trending under budget expectations. All right, 18 and 19 are general fund expenses for building maintenance. Personnel services is trending below budget expectations. This category does not actually include employees' wages, but does include uniforms and gear and safety and wellness. And that full-time position is currently vacant, so we will have some savings there in those line items. General administration budget is at 100% remaining. It did have a fuel line that was budgeted but has not had expenses to it. And the operating maintenance budget is fairly small. This was a new budget last year. So it contains tools and small equipment, which is over by 1,152. And vehicle repair and maintenance was not initially budgeted, but we added a line item for better tracking, and that's only has $259. All right, pages 20 and 21 is the reservoir budget. So again, this is on target at 28.35%. This category includes a line item for building and grounds. So the expenses to date include a redecking project, a lock bridge at the pump house project, dock railing project, and maintaining the grounds at the reservoir. All right, pages 22 and 23 are covering our ARPA revenues and expenses. We have talked about that recently. The income that we see is from interest income that's posted monthly when we reconcile our bank statements. And expenses include Allstate Consultants for design and bid assistance that was related to the contract recently approved for the water and the wastewater ARPA projects. And then there's a small expense for publishing the bid notice. And we won't expect any expenditures within that budget until the projects begin. 24 and 25 are electric department revenues. Service revenues are on target with budget expectations. Interfund transfers includes the year-end transfers that will be made later in the year. So that's showing that we have not had any activity. Other miscellaneous income includes interest income posted at month end, which interest income is performing better than expected in the budget's made. It also includes mutual aid reimbursement from Carthage, Missouri, and Hurricane Helene response, and then fees for new electrical service for multiple developments, including Benning, Johnson Drive, The Hill, and Pine Creek Development, and the recent sale of the cooling tower. This line item is generally budgeted conservatively because you can't always anticipate what you'll get for new services and if you'll have anything for sale. So overall, the revenues are in line with budget expectations. 26 and 27 is electric department expenses. Again, at the top, if you look, we're at 33.46% overall. Personnel services is on target. Within that category, overtime and the safety and wellness line items are over budget by a combined $21,096. However, there are a number of other line items within that are under budget, which are offsetting. Contractual services is on target with budget. However, the credit card processing line is expected to exceed the budget. That will be true for the electric, water, and wastewater department. We use Tyler Encode.
Oh, no.
We use Tyler Encode as our data processor, and we were required to change credit card processing systems, which then came with a higher fee. So we will adjust the revenue to better reflect actuals as we go in to next year. General administration is exceeding budget. Annual insurance premiums are included, and they did exceed the estimated budget. Fuel is slightly exceeding budget, and we'll still have 3 additional months of expense, but the budget deficit is not expected to exceed $2,000. Departmental supplies is exceeding budget by $20,674. However, this line item includes $37,642 in materials for the hill development that will be reimbursed. Operating maintenance is trending under budget. Expenses for repair and maintenance for equipment, vehicles, meters, and the building have been low to date. Non-operating is trending under budget. This includes a year-end transfer that has not been made. And then we will cover the capital budget as we move through the presentation. All right, pages 28 and 29 are water department revenues, on target with budget, service revenue on target, interfund transfers, include their interest income that's posted at month end, and the transfer reserve fund that has not been entered, and then other miscellaneous. All right, 30 and 31 is water department expenses, overall on target with where we are in the budget year. Personnel on target, contractual services is on target. This category includes audit fees, water tower maintenance agreement, accounting software maintenance, and AMI software maintenance and hosting. Most of those are annual expenses. General administration is on track to exceed budget. Again, in this budget, electricity and water is coming in slightly higher, but natural gas to date is coming in under budget, which is offsetting. Postage is expected to slightly exceed, and departmental supplies is exceeding by $3,740. And expenses to repair a leak on the raw water line hit this line item for $5,230, accounting for that deficit. Operating maintenance is trending ahead of budget. Building repair and maintenance exceeded budget by $2,383 and includes a repair for crane repair and roof repair at the water plant. System repair and maintenance is exceeding by $6,250, and this line item includes a $26,250 expense to repair the line style. Non-operating is trending under budget, and then we will review capital. I made a note here, their capital is showed, they're exceeding by $10,166, which includes an item that was paid that was not included in the budget related to the Hill Project upsize agreement, and that amounted to $25,787. All right, pages 32 and 33 are wastewater department revenues. Service revenue on target with budget. Their grant and financing category includes the line item for the 2004 B series interest income. That is on target with budget. And other miscellaneous income is trending ahead of budget. This includes interest income from investments in the 2005 series and 2014 and 2015 bonds. Interest income is coming in ahead of budget expectations. All right, 34 and 35 are wastewater department expenses. Overall, they are coming in on target. Personnel's on target with the overtime line being slightly over budget. Contractual services is exceeding budget. The annual accounting software and maintenance payment will be made in March, adding an additional $10,500. Credit card processing is exceeding in this budget as well, and is expected to exceed the budget by about $40,000 at year end, which is due to the change in credit card processing companies. General administration is on target with budget. Department supplies will likely exceed by year end, but the expenses are routine in that category. Operating maintenance is on target. Vehicle repair and maintenance slightly exceeds by $254. System repair and maintenance is exceeding the budget by $18,160, and this includes $8,000 in expenses for lift station repairs and $11,460 in expenses for Second Street Terrace emergency repairs. Those expenses can be offset by remaining funds in the CIP budget called sewer relining. Non-operating is on target and includes a year-end transfer that has not yet been made. And the capital category for wastewater includes debt payments for 2004B, 2005, 2014, and the 2015 series. Pages 36 and 37 are parks revenues. There's several departments within the parks fund, and I've shown them all to you on page 36. Notes are, this also gets tax distribution, property tax distribution, so we are expecting the largest distribution to be received in January, which will impact the property tax category in Park Fund. Service revenues are on target with budget, and the interfund transfers include year-end transfers that have not yet been made. The swimming pool department, swimming revenue, let's see, I think we were under, the swimming season's over, so that service revenue really has been booked, and there was a period of time where they were unable to open because of the pump over there. Season passes and swim lessons did come in under budget. Gate fees and pool rentals came in over budget expectations. Okay, and then that also includes transfers that will be made closer to year end. Parks programs, service revenue is trending under budget in both adult program revenue and youth program revenue. However, spring soccer and the baseball and softball signups are expected to bring that revenue up to budget expectations. Park concessions, service revenue is trending over budget. Ball field concessions exceeded budget expectations while swimming pool came in under. And that the pool was closed for a period during the swim season. All right, 38 and 39 are the park department expenditures within the park fund. Personnel services on target with budget. Contractual services includes a line item for accounting software and maintenance, which will be expensed in March. This will be on target with budget. General administration includes annual insurance premium, which has been paid. Internet access and department supplies are trending close to budget and could slightly exceed. However, those amounts will be minimal. Operating maintenance is on target with budget, and within this category, equipment repair and maintenance exceeds the budget by about $2,100. And this includes hydraulic repairs to 2018 John Deere for $3,853. Parts repair and maintenance exceeds the budget by a very minimal $412, which is due to routine expenses. There is the expectation that a full set of tire replacements may be needed for the parks maintenance trucks within this budget year. Non-operating is a very small budget of $250 and is under budget. All right, page 40 and 41, we are looking at the swimming pool. Swimming pool season is over and most of those expenses should be complete and booked to the accounts. Personnel services exceeded the budget by $3,500. This is primarily due to estimating the needs and availability of the part-time and seasonal staff that's required for the swim season. Contractual services includes expenses from the management agreement with Midwest Pool Management, which you will see at your next meeting. This line item exceeds the budget by $7,220. This is a contracted expense. However, the supplemental salaries for the pool parties are additional and can vary year to year. We're going to try to look at that when we evaluate fees this year. General administration is a small budget and is well under. Operating maintenance is exceeding the budget by $10,644. Equipment repair and maintenance exceeds the budget by $17,304, which includes $16,472 for an emergency purchase for a pump replacement and repair at the swimming pool early in the season, and $3,993 for a pool vacuum. Bathhouse and maintenance is exceeding the budget and is primarily due to $1,826 for repairs at the aquatic center. Capital's on target with budget, and this includes lease payments for the 2008A lease for the aquatic center. 42 and 43 are parks programs. Personnel services is on target with budget. General administration is also on target with budget and will be made up. Again, some of those expenses for the spring sports will, for the soccer and baseball, softball, to bring those expenses up. Pages 44 and 45 are parks concessions. Again, this is seasonal. Most of these expenses should be complete. Personnel services is on target and set to come in under budget. General administration includes seasonal concession supplies, and those expenses should be complete for the year. 46 and 47 is the Parks Development Fund. I I've shown both the revenues and expenses on one page for you here. The revenues in this fund vary year to year depending on development activity. So Pine Creek Development paid the city $12,800 this year in park development fees as part of their development project. There have not been any expenses made from this fund. And I've given you the section of code that shall only be used for the purchase, development, renovation, and maintenance of neighborhood park and recreational facilities determined by the City Park and Recreation Board of Directors as being reasonably accessible to the residents of such subdivision. All right, 48 and 49 brings us to capital improvement sales tax revenues. So this fund is primarily funded by a half-cent capital improvement sales tax. Sales tax is on target with budget and could slightly exceed the budget expectations. Interest income, which is posted at month end, is performing better than budgeted revenues. And this includes a year-end transfer that has not yet been made. Capital improvement sales tax expenses. There is a contract services category, which includes auditor fees. Those should be complete, and that category is on target with budget. Operating maintenance includes the following capital improvement lines for parks, for streets, and for police, and we'll cover those in the following slides. Capital is trending on target with budget and includes 2019 series debt payments, which are complete for the year and on target with budget. City Hall lease payments, which are on target with budget. City Hall project expenses did not have a budget, but $35,385 was expensed of the remaining lease proceeds to install a generator at City Hall, which will be reimbursed by lease proceeds. Transfer to the park fund is a year-end transfer that has not been made. And then we'll cover the administration capital improvement in the next slide. All right, page 52 shows us the capital improvement plan expenses that include police, street, parks, and administration. At the top, you're getting kind of a snapshot of what each department budgeted and what the remaining budget is at the bottom. So the total, we still have $9,547.92 remaining. As we look down at the bottom of that page on 52, the first line is for police vehicle replacement. That went over by $550. The mower replacement for parks was slightly over. Parks, however, the parks pool loungers came in over. So you can see within each kind of department where they landed. Are there any specific questions on this slide? Okay. The next one down on page 53 is capital improvement plan expenses for electric. This is laid out a little bit differently at the top. Land and buildings, infrastructure, fleet, and equipment. They have a total of $120,677.75 remaining of their CIP budget. Let's see. So I'm just going to go down and highlight a few. The security substation renovation has had $0 expense. Troy, did that one come in higher than expected? Is that right?
No, he hasn't completed it yet.
Okay. This one did include SCADA system expenses that were really from the 2023-24 fiscal year. It's at the very bottom line, $4,013.68. As of right now, this budget can absorb that. The plant floor renovations came in about $5,700 over budget expectations. And I'll find that line here. However, the 2011 truck replacement, we knew there was going to be some additional funds left, which was used to offset some of that overage. Any questions on electric? Okay. The next page on 54 is capital improvement expenses for water, laid out the same way at the top. You can see the different categories. This is over budget by $10,165.63. All right, I gotta read my own notes here. Give me just a second. Downtown water line came in just 3,700 over budget. And I have some notes down at the bottom here. So on the replace sand and sand filter, the bids came in too high for that project. And that money is intended to be used towards the well pump and the center column repair and replacement, which has not yet taken place. The new gate for the water plant, also bids came in too high. That is intended to be used towards the well pump and center column repair and replacement. And the two bottom lines, the Hill project, water line upsize agreement expenses were not included in the CIP budget, but were agreed to in the agreement. Those total $25,786.89. And there was a small expense that was not budgeted for an insurance claim for damage to a Comcast line. The next page on 55 is capital improvement expenses for wastewater. Overall, they have $28,364 left in their annual CIP budget. Let's see, the boom lift was purchased and that's complete. The 2006 Dodge Ram has been purchased and is complete. Equipment trailer purchased and complete. And out of the $50,000 that was budgeted for a sewer relining study, some projects were completed that included a pump station project and 8 and main service connection repair. So of that $26,825, we had talked earlier about $18,000 in expenses that's going to help absorb. All right, what's next? Okay, on page 56 and 57, we're looking at transportation tax revenues. So sales and use tax revenues are on target with budget expectations. The grant financing and revenues is one that might stand out. At the top, you see a large revenue budget and a small number for fiscal activity. That is budgeted for the downtown sidewalk infrastructure project in the amount of $773,565 for reimbursable grant expenditures. To date, $25,492 in grant expenses for engineering has been reimbursed. Interfund transfers includes a small budget for interest income and year-end transfers that have not yet been made. And a couple notes, the transfer from general fund for streets will be made at year-end. The other transfer that is budgeted from the general fund and the reserves will only be made when the downtown sidewalk infrastructure project is in full swing. And again, at this time, only engineering has been expensed, of which the reimbursable expenses reflect in the grant revenues. All right, last couple of pages, if you're all still with me. Pages 58 and 59 are the transportation tax expenses. The contract services expense includes annual audit fees, which should be complete for the year. Operating maintenance includes operating equipment lease payments for paver, asphalt compactor, and excavator with Caterpillar Financial. An excavator lease payment will be made in March, and this category is on target with budget. Capital includes street plan projects and the downtown sidewalk infrastructure project. The street plan project exceeds budget by $3,956. This includes $13,125 for one half of Benning Street, which will be paid out of the 2025-26 street plan budget by reducing that budget by the same amount. The downtown sidewalk infrastructure project is budgeted for expenses, some of which are offset by budgeted transfers into the fund. So the project line is budgeted for $2,290,321, yet only engineering for the project has been expensed in the amount of $44,991. Questions, comments? Are y'all still with
Can I make a recommendation for things to look in for next year's budget? Sure. So there's 3 things that I would be interested in looking as part of next year's budget. A new video and audio system here. Preferably not one installed in the building, but one that can be moved to multiple locations. Be looking at that, so it can be used for multiple purposes. A backup generator for here, so that this facility can actually be opened up as a warming center or a cooling center when power goes out. The community can actually use it in emergency situations until either something happens at the police station or whatever happens there. And then increasing the compensation for elected officials at a minimum utility stipend or something like that to help encourage more people to run and be more involved. So
You can further discuss those once we start our first workshop, but that helps us prepare for those, so thank
just
you.
wanted to look into.
All right, very good. Moving on to bill number 2025-01, the introduction and readings of bill number 2025-01, authorizing the mayor to enter into a cost apportionment agreement between the city of Odessa, Missouri and the Missouri Department of Transportation for the enhancement of bridge structures over Interstate 70. I'll take a motion for the reading, first reading.
I'll make a motion to read bill number 2025-01, I-70 bridge signage.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? 6-0, discussion.
What's new information?
Just what Brenda presented this, or at the public comments.
Alderman Platt.
Okay. So the last time that we talked about this, I voted no. I am not against this. I think it'd be nice. I'm gonna use Oak Grove as an example because they're the closest town to us. Oak Grove has 3 truck stops that they get a lot of tax revenue off of. We do not. When, if I remember right, when this was first brought up, it was basically said, we don't have the money for this. I'm trying to sound like I'm on a soapbox here. I was raised in a house where if you didn't have the money for something, it was not a sin to tell your children we can't afford it. With the Chamber of Commerce saying what they did tonight, I do believe this somewhat changes things.
I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, all right. Anybody else got anything there? Alderman Kerr.
I would like to reiterate, and please correct me if I'm wrong, what this is doing is giving us the opportunity to have MoDOT tell us what it's gonna cost to do this,
Yes.
put this name on that bridge.
Yes.
We are not approving that expense right now. I thought that we were short-sighted last month, even though we didn't have the chamber's idea as to how to contribute. I'm not trying to kick this can down the road, but I don't think we need to make this decision except go forward and find out what it's gonna cost, okay? I don't think it's gonna come in at $10,000 or less. So now all of a sudden, if it comes in at 24,000 or 34,000, we as a board will know what it is that we are going to have to come up with. So at this stage, I personally do not feel, and again, I'm not against Colin or Mike, who voted no, so you can redo that. But I don't see how voting no does anything to assist us. Let's take the next 4 months and figure out if the chamber wants to perhaps kick in more, that's fine. If something else happens, that's great also. If not, we're then faced with a decision. Do we want to cost the city of Odessa X amount of dollars? And I just think that we're remiss if we don't go forward. So that's my 2 cents.
All this does tonight is it keeps the option on the table. You can always say no down the road. But approving this and having to go forward keeps that option on the table. this board has the power to say no. If and when that time comes, they can't afford this. You'll still have that option. Alderman Carey.
So I'll agree with Mike. So I voted against it last time because it was not budgeted. We don't have money in the budget for it. When I talked to community members about it and said, is this something, because to Mike's comment, when we set budgets as families, sometimes we change those budgets when things come up. We have expenses that we have to do. And I asked community members, is this something that you're willing to expend some money on and change some budgets on? I got an overwhelmingly no. The only people that wanted it are in this room, and I'm not faulting anyone. And I asked why. I said, what do you think about this? Their biggest thing is the cost. I'm not against the sign being on the bridge. I think it's great. I think it would help us look a little more classy and bring a little more prestige to it. But at the end of the day, everyone I talked to said we don't have the funds for it. We would rather have other amenities in our society, in our community. That being said, like Mike said, money is the driving factor. We have a commitment that covers a third of it right now. That changes things. It doesn't mean it's an automatic yes, but it brings it back to the table to be deliberated on. Similar to what Bob said, okay, somebody's gonna pony up some money. I think that the community members that I talk to are still gonna say, no, we don't wanna spend the money. If we can find money elsewhere between now and when it happens, I'm for that. No one was against the sign, it was against not being in the budget and paying for it. So I do think that changes things a little bit, so.
Go ahead, you talk first.
All I want to say is I disagree with you when you say only the people in this room want that.
No, I said those are the people that I've heard.
I'm just saying that I disagree with you on that. There's a lot of people in the community, especially business people, that really would like to have this sign.
Okay.
That's all.
I have not heard from them, but I'm not saying they don't exist.
Well, the idea you say the only the people in this room want it is not true.
That's not what I said. I said the only people who I talked to that wanted it were in this room. I'm sure that there are people that you talked to that want it. I agree with that. So.
Sean.
One thing I just wanted to add to is that we don't know the price at this time. So, and we will not know the price until May of 2025. So, even if Chamber does contribute, we still don't know how much of the total project that contribution will go towards. So we really can't make those decisions on budget, what we have, what we don't have, what's available to us until we know the cost of the project. And one of the other items that we've discussed with with the board and the finance committee is the need to create a fund balance policy, and with that will be a deep analysis of the reserves that we have within our existing funds. So while it's not budgeted in this fiscal year, it can be budgeted in a future fiscal year, and whether we have the money or don't have the money is dependent on looking at the reserves that we have. So there's just a difference between not having the money budgeted and not having the money at all. So we still need to review the money that we have.
Very good. Thank you for that. Alderman Cole.
So feedback that I've heard is that while it potentially could be a lot of money, people get that. It's a one-time opportunity. So, and it will last a long time, forever, hopefully, forever of our lifetime. So that's something to think about too. And the, the money that we could get back from any economic shopping advancement, anything like that. So.
Any further discussion? With that, I'll go to the second reading of the bill. Introduction and reading of bill number 2025-01, authorizing the mayor to enter into a cost apportionment agreement between the city of Odessa, Missouri and the Missouri Department of Transportation for the enhancement of bridge structures over Interstate 72nd. Reading, I will take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of bill number 2025-01, I-70 bridge signage. Approve the bill as an ordinance.
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Aldermember Platte,
Yes.
Carey,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Eller,
Yes.
Kerrigan,
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, given ordinance number 3141.
And with the motion carrying, I would like to thank Brenda Oliver at the Chamber of Commerce for their generous, their willingness and their generosity to the city of Odessa on this. We'll see how it goes. Thank you. Moving to bill number 2025-02, introduction and readings of bill number 2025-02, approving the replat of Graham's Addition Lot 1 through Lot 4, replat of lots 1A and 2A, Bowles Addition, and lots 1 through 7, and lots 10 through 13, block 16, Cobb's Addition, a subdivision in Odessa, Lafayette County, Missouri. I will take a motion to approve, the first reading.
I'll make a motion to, the first reading bill number 2025-02. Replat Grand Edition.
I have a motion, do I have a second? We have a motion and a second, all in favor? 6-0, discussion.
I don't know if anybody's here, but I'm just, they're making 4 lots out of this, but why is lot 2 so, I mean, it's a strange.
Lot two is the one that's off of Dryden, correct?
Yeah,
So lot 2 is where their existing business is, the storage units.
oh, and that's
So
why
they're-
they had to do that.
Yeah, they're parceling off the existing storage units because based on our ordinance, you can only have one primary facility. So they needed to separate the proposed building and the existing buildings per lot.
I see, so that bump out there is probably one of the existing.
Yeah, and the southernmost lot, they did that because of that same rule. They want to be able to expand their storage unit facilities in the future. And because of that rule of only one primary, they wouldn't be able to put additional storage units where the advanced building would be eventually.
The lot lines were just really,
Yeah.
I
They just move around the existing storage units that are there today.
That answers my question, thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing no discussion, we'll move to the second reading. Introduction and readings of bill number 2025-02, approving the replat of Graham's Addition, lot 1 through lot 4, replat of lot 1A and 2A, Bowles Addition, and lots 1 through 7, and lots 10 through 13, block 16, Cobb's Addition, a subdivision in Odessa, Lafayette County, Missouri. Second reading, I take a motion to approve.
I will make a motion to approve the second reading of bill number 2025-02, replanning of the Graham's Addition, and approve the bill as an ordinance.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Aldermember Paulson,
Yes.
Eller,
Yes.
Kerrigan,
Yes.
Platte,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Carey.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, given ordinance number 3142.
Very good. Moving to resolution number 2025-01, proposed resolution number 2025-01, authorizing the mayor to enter into a professional services agreement between the city of Odessa, Missouri, and Honest Maids LLC for cleaning City Hall, Odessa Police Department, and the community building. Discussion.
I think when you compare the 3 bids that she got in, this is the best. This looks like a very good bid, and I do know some people that use this company, and I've heard nothing but good things about them, so.
Very good. Any further?
Post on Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
Never hear anything bad.
Yeah.
That's where you're gonna hear it if you're gonna have it.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing I wanted to just mention is that, we have in the contract a 30-day written notice that if something doesn't happen, that, if they don't meet up to our expectations. So I think this is a win-win.
Very good. Further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve resolution number 2025-0.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-01, professional cleaning services agreement.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? 60, thank you. Now we'll go to a motion to approve. This motion to approve the purchase of benches and trash cans for the downtown infrastructure project. Sean, discussion.
Yes, so this is a part of the downtown project. We're choosing to pay for this out of our capital improvement reserves. And we wanted to get them ordered early enough, so one, that there's no delay. We thought we would be a little bit closer to the project, but we intended to order them at the beginning of 2025. And we're just carrying through with that plan. As you can see, there's the amenity plan in your packet too that shows you really the exact location of where those benches and trash cans will be located in the project. And in order to save, we're choosing to have our staff install them instead of the contractor, which is a big reason as to why it's outside of the overall project bid and it's being purchased outside of the project itself.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Alderman Allen.
It came to me and said, why can't we use the same 4 pots that we have now? And I was sitting in a meeting with Shauna when we were looking at these pots, because I am president of the garden club. And I just want to say that the new pots will be sturdier because they are set out into the bump outs and they will be larger. And the second comment I want to make is that the garden club has said they will continue to maintain those pots once we get them out there. So I just want to let the group know that I think buying these pots is a great thing and that they will be maintained by the Odessa Garden Club.
So is this I know we're buying new ones, what are we gonna do with the old ones?
Right, so,
that's what it is.
well, Shauna can speak to that a little bit.
Is there a plan for them?
I don't have a plan personally right now to reuse the garden or the pots, but I do think it's a great idea to put them somewhere else to help beautify the community as much as possible. The other thing I was going to say too is we intend to use the benches and trash cans at the reservoir. So currently we don't have benches or trash cans at the reservoir, and the lack of trash cans is concerning, and it's always an issue. So I think it's a really great use to repurpose those concrete trash cans that we have currently and putting them out at the reservoir. So.
And I feel confident enough to say that if they were given to the garden club, say, hey, where do you want to put these? Because we would maintain probably. There could be at the park, there could be at a railroad park, or maybe even out here somewhere. We're not going to throw them away.
Oh, yeah, I think that we could use you guys.
But I do feel like we need to replace the ones that we have down.
I was looking at the ones down there and I thought they weren't that bad.
They're not that bad.
I mean,
But the newer ones,
to spend $3,700 for new.
that question came to me as well, but when, and I did sit in that meeting with Sean, I think we do need bigger and sturdier ones because they are going to be out in more trafficked areas.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll make bigger dents.
Bigger dents.
When someone hits them.
So, but we'll use the ones we have there in other places.
So I noticed there's two different layouts. Is there a decision between the two layouts on the sidewalk?
Two different layouts.
Yeah.
On the amenity plan.
Yeah, one of them has bump outs and one of them doesn't on the ends.
It should be the difference between 2nd Street and Mason Street.
Maybe that's what it is.
So you have each page is one quadrant of downtown.
That's what it is. Yep. One's north, south, one's east.
So Mason does not have the bump outs except for in the 4-way.
Yep. Gotcha.
I looked at that too.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the benches and the trash cans.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? 6-0. Thank you very much. That moves us to our final topic, our discussion about the Board of Aldermen meeting frequency. I will start this discussion off with thanking the board for the opportunity to see if this was something that was going to work out. I was indifferent then. I am indifferent now to how often we meet. If the board sees fit to go back to every 2 weeks, that is perfectly fine to me. But something to consider, that I didn't actually consider when we went to once a month. And it came to me when I was talking to Carl the other day, not right away, but I was talking to you, asking why you were gonna run again. And you said, much like I did when I decided to run for the board again, that you had just figured out your first, what you were supposed to be doing and getting your sea legs and all of this. And we went to once a month, but what that does is it takes half of your opportunities to interact with the board away. We have 4 new people on the board, Mike, John, Bob. And you're just now getting your sea legs. To take half your opportunities to interact as a board away reduces the number of times you have to work together. And in my opinion, that would make you less efficient. So that's just something I wanted to point out. But I think it was worth giving it a try to see if it had a significant effect on city staff. And I don't know what the result of that is actually. Maybe they can, if they want to share information, they can, as you discuss. But I just wanted to put that out there. So with that, I'll leave it to the board to discuss. Thank you.
That was gonna be my question. How has it worked for you all?
It's been great for us. Allows, in my head, it kind of allows us one more week of the month to conduct business. Because when it's a agenda week, Karen and I's time gets dedicated to the agenda and those items. So it just freed up one more week for us. But either way, we're comfortable with whatever decision the board makes. So.
Karen?
Alderman Black.
Sorry.
I'm neutral.
I want to see if Karen had to add anything to that.
I basically ditto what she said. I mean, I'm neutral, whatever you see fit. Work is work, it's not gonna go away.
Say for public record, this was not Mayor Barner's idea, but he has been very much chastised for it. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for standing up.
I had concerns like you expressed. You may not have said you didn't sit at the time. I did, because I was new and being able to rub shoulders. It is nice to see everybody and talk to everybody, but there are drawbacks to that, as it takes time away from our lives and our families, especially when my wife's on other things and kids. It causes department heads to come in on an extra night, causes, like city staff has said, that takes a week away from them. So I don't think it's something that we need to take lightly, but I do think we can be more effective if we're in person with more. I do like the communication that was started at the same time, where we got more communication. We got a city administrator report, we got a mayor report. I like the changes that have happened even in the last month. We get them in writing now, especially where other people can get a hold of those. I think that has made a huge difference on the amount of information that we get, so we can help make good decisions and not just come and just be here. I personally don't know if I have a preference one way or the other. I see pros and cons on both, and I'm willing to entertain either side from anybody that has any strong opinion on it, one way or the other. So, all right.
Well, my opinion stands like it was originally. I do see the benefit of the 2 meetings, and the reason being is that, one, I feel like we do need new microphones. I do feel like that with 2 meetings, our agendas are shorter. While we do have 2 meetings to come to, we're not here as long typically. Also, it gives us an opportunity to discuss something. If we don't make a decision, we can make a decision, do more research the next meeting instead of waiting a whole nother month. And I just think right now with our city, there is a lot going on, and we just need to be in contact with each other, through these meetings, discussing it in public, and getting everybody's opinion together where we all hear the same thing, so.
All right. Alderman Miller.
I feel like sometimes that something comes up and it's a deadline, facing us. And we, maybe, we haven't had to call any, additional meetings yet. But I feel like that sometimes there's a deadline approaching and, oh my gosh, we only have the one meeting this month. And maybe piggyback on what you're saying, maybe it might take us 2 meetings in some days. We've done fine so far. I love the fact that you guys have an opportunity to do more work in City Hall, because we don't even have a clue what you guys do and can get done. And I know it takes a lot to get this out. And also know department heads would probably like to sit here one meeting a month. But I do worry more about the deadline. So I'm wondering if we couldn't continue on with our 1 month. We're going to have some additional meetings for the budget. And maybe when the new April, and when we get a new, I feel like that at least if we get new people on this board, that we should think about maybe a couple times a month. I don't know if that's even feasible with our ordinances, but I really like the two a month personally.
Alderman Plank.
From researching it, 2 a month is the norm.
Yeah, but
I didn't come across it. I don't think any town that had them once a month. They all have.
It's either 2 or more.
Yeah.
Depending on the size of the tank.
I think we could continue it on maybe another couple months in Tuscaloosa. We've got a lot coming up with the budget, but maybe revisit this, when we get into the new year and see, that's.
We start budget meetings in February, March.
February.
You're gonna have 2 meetings there already that month, if not more.
And probably 2 in.
But potentially they're ahead of our,
Those are
they're the
usually-
same night.
Yep.
Just ahead of the regular meeting, right?
How would that, like, one night would be totally budget and then another would be an alderman meeting?
So previously, when we had 2 meetings a month, we had 3 workshops. So 2 of those workshops were during board meetings or before a board meeting, and 1 was special. And then in March, you have your overall budget presentation, and then followed by the adoption. Amy and I have come up with a budget schedule that aligns with the 1 meeting a month that required only 1 additional special meeting, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure it was just 1 additional special meeting, but we combined some presentations, because I don't know if you all remember correctly or not, but when we did do the budget workshops with 3 workshops, there were some times where, you're doing if 2 of those meetings are during the 7 o'clock meeting or before the 7 o'clock meeting, the budget presentation itself is just a small portion of the evening. So we took those and combined them into 1 to try to reduce the amount of workshops, still the same content, but just a little bit longer of meetings. So we have an approach for both options, is what I'm saying.
Nikki, Bob?
I feel that it started out, I thought, very well with the mayor's interplay with us. Somehow that seems to be lacking a
Well,
little bit.
it was the schedules of everybody. The intent was to do it every month, once a month, but then things happened and we can't do it for this week for whatever reason. It couldn't get people together. So the wheels kind of fell off the structure of it, which kind of actually defeated the whole purpose of what I was trying to do, to get timely information on a regular set.
And that wasn't your fault, according to mine.
No.
Well, Colin also pointed out that, and I just had a senior moment, because at this point I can't remember.
It'll come back.
It'll come back. Excuse me. We had the city administrator, and still do, having the written overview. And I think we were having you do that every other week or twice a month.
Yeah.
That in and of itself was very valuable, and I would like to see that continue. Actually, if you could perform that on the off, weeks, because I'm inclined right now to go back to 2. At this stage, I think not necessarily the interplay between all the aldermen. We're gonna have enough with the meetings for the budget and even one. And Karen, I realize this puts it on your shoulders more than anything else. I'm gonna go opposite from the standpoint, I would like to go back to 2 to get through the end of the year. Then the new Board of Aldermen or the old Board of Aldermen can make a decision as to whether or not they want to flip it back out to just once a month.
So
Mike's right, I don't think any other city has one a month. I think we're unique perhaps in the state of Missouri. And I would just as soon do twice a month, and that's how I'm.
I've been on the board 7 years. These guys have been behind me most of those, for, you know, my mic's not working. They're used to it, you know. I don't know what their expectations are. I don't know if they like sitting here looking at all of this for 2 meetings a month, or, but myself, I like 2 meetings a month. But I'm one person. So, I mean, I don't know, it just seems like we do better with 2 meetings a month.
if we hadn't tried once a month, we would have never known this.
That's true.
Right.
We would have never
So
known.
it's worth, in my opinion, it was worth giving it a try to see. If you don't try, you don't know. Sean?
I have a proposal, and it sounds like we do have a consensus of the board to move back to 2 meetings a month. So since we do have, both options with our, come February when we start our budget workshops, my proposal would be that starting in February, we move back to 2 meetings a month, and that's when we start our budget season off with you all. So that would be my proposal, if you all agree.
We have consensus with the board to do that?
Yes.
I see a lot of heads going up and
Yes.
down, none go this way. So
We'll give you a 1 month free.
Okay. So we will repeal the ordinance,
Yes.
the first meeting in February,
yes,
and then the second meeting will be good to go.
there you go.
Yep.
All
We
right.
don't repeal it completely.
Again,
because
my.
We'll repeal it
Work-
and new,
Replace
replace it, yeah,
For city staff.
with the new ordinance.
Alderman Terry.
So we're still gonna meet the 10th?
Of February, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, because
that'll be the start of it. So
Yeah,
we'll have January.
okay,
but we're not gonna meet the second meeting in January.
okay, right.
What is your direction? Make it so.
Okay.
All right.
Just one more comment on that.
Sure.
You mentioned we wouldn't know from this, we should try. Right. So we tried. But it doesn't mean that that was a failure because we tried. There's been a lot of positive things that have come out of that we tried in addition to that. Just because we determined we don't want to do 1 meeting a month, there were a lot of positive things that came out of it. So I just want to point that out. It's not a failure. So.
I agree with that. It wasn't bad, it's just.
I don't disagree. Like I said, I've been indifferent this whole time, but I do appreciate that the board gave an opportunity to find out. All right, so that's where we're at. And with that, our next scheduled meeting is Monday, February 10th. And I would take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? 6-0. Thank you very much.
Okay.